Hello, ladies, and welcome to another edition of Menopause Made Easy with Tanya. And today we're going to talk about our decline in neurotransmitters. What's that? Due to falling estrogen. Real life examples of how that shows up in our lives and some practical strategies to support our brain chemistry naturally. But first, before we jump in, I've got my Vibe device here. Ooh, there we go from Arizona Health. Mark was on my podcast sometime last year, and I'm going to run the anti-aging program while I'm taping this podcast. So I've just clicked it. It has started. I'm going to put it into my top here, and then I'm going to carry on. And you might be thinking, Vibe, running anti-aging program? What's going on? Well, I like to think of this as my energetic healthcare team because I believe that we have a team around us that supports us, and I am part of your team by you showing up here and listening to this podcast and learning some fabulous things about your health, and that you should have a team, right? And so some people hire me or they use some of my products that I recommend, and I have been using this device for probably over a year, roughly. And I just love, I believe we are electrical human beings and we have a frequency. You're going to hear more and more about this, I'm sure, coming up. Lights and sound and frequency. Anyway, I always like to explore different things. And I can honestly say that I just put this on. I pick a program anywhere from brain fog, anti-aging, earthing, alpha, beta, gamma, delta, theta, sleep. There's so many different programs that you can choose, and you just put it on and it just runs through your body as I'm speaking. You don't hear a thing. So if you would like this non-invasive, frequently based wellness support to help balance your body, reduce inflammation, support better sleep, ease hormonal fluctuations, and boost your mood naturally, then I can honestly say that this is an excellent addition to next level health care. And I am offering $150 off if you use coupon code Vibrant150 at checkout. And I will put the link, but you go to rizona.health/vibrant-living, and that will pull up the website. I'll also put it in the show notes. And honestly, it's worth a try. You never know which one of these things is going to elevate your health. All right, I believe in a holistic approach from many different angles. All right, so back to our episode today, Brain on Pause, how estrogen impacts your mood, focus, and sleep, and what you can do about it. All right, so we are here to take the mystery out of menopause and replace it with clarity and compassion and a lot of practical wisdom. And I'm your host. Every week I show up, Tanya, and I have been in the wellness space for over 30 years. I do personal training, teaching, I do nutrition, I do individual coaching, group coaching. I am a sleep recovery coach. Oh my gosh, everybody, I'm here basically. If you are like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't know how to get my life in order. There's two options you can do. You can either you can jump in and call me, and then we can decide, do you want to join a group program or do you want to work with me individually? All right. Or you could just continue to listen to my podcast and share it with your friends and family, and that would be wonderful too. All right, so we're going to jump into something that I hear about a lot today, are mood swings, brain fog. Oh, I could run my brain fog program. Motivation crashes, anxiety out of nowhere. Oh my gosh, you can put my hands up for all of these. Okay, so does it sound familiar to you? I would say I'm getting more of a handle on a lot of these things, but definitely when I was perimenopausal and didn't know anything about what I know now, um, it was crazy. But I can still walk into a room and forget why I'm there, be like, what did I come in here for? What did I come in here for? Oh my gosh. And then I go back out to the kitchen, then I go back to the room, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, what was it again? Oh, okay. So I've definitely done that. Doesn't happen every time, but it does happen. Okay. And sometimes you can feel weepy. Um, Sorry, I was just checking to make sure this was recording. Weeping or irritable for no reason. I've definitely been there. I can honestly say some progesterone is helping, I believe. And then you used to love your morning workout or just working out, and now you're like, I don't care. I don't care what I do. Like a motivational loss. You guys have heard me talk about that over the years where I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Right? And so that can be part of the issue, or sleep, a lot of sleep issues, right? And so you're like, not sleep, it takes me too long to fall asleep. I'm not sleeping deeply. I'm waking up. I'm just not feeling great. And I'll tell you, I've talked about this in many episodes. If your sleep's not great, and there is a sleep program, I run it most nights, then it's really throwing a lot of other things off a whack. Okay, now these aren't character flaws, ladies. They're chemistry shifts. And the good news is you're not broken. You're not broken. Okay. You're hormonally human. All right. This is what we're going through. It's just a fact of life. So let's really talk about what's happening in your brain as estrogen is taking a nosedive, and more importantly, how to support your beautiful brain through this transition so that we can, work on our brain fog, work on feeling motivated, work on better sleep, work on wanting to actually work out. Okay, so estrogen is your brain's best friend. And whoo, it's not around like it used to be. Okay, so estrogen isn't just about periods and pregnancies, it's actually a major player in brain health. It helps regulate several important neurotransmitters, which are those chemical messengers that influence your mood, focus, energy, and sleep. Okay, so don't get too concerned about the word neurotransmitter. Okay, so you have these messengers running around in your body telling you about your mood and your sleep and your energy and your focus. And when this estrogen drops, okay, so perimenopause is up and down like a roller coaster, then you hit, no period, no period, no period, and it's going down. Then 12 months later, you are now menopausal on that date. And then the day after, you are postmenopausal, and there's not a lot of estrogen circulating. All right. And so when it drops, when estrogen drops, it's like the volume gets turned down on these neurotransmitters and they go really quiet. Okay. And you start to feel it. You start to feel it because now the message is not getting through. All right. And so that's why we see anxiety or mood or sleep or lack of motivation and all those things. Okay. So today let's talk about what the top five neurotransmitters, what five neurotransmitters are affected. And I'll give you some real life scenarios so you can kind of figure out, and then let's come up with some strategies. All right. So you may or may not have heard of this one, but serotonin. Okay, so serotonin is your mood stabilizer. It's your internal sunshine. Okay, so it helps regulate your mood, sleep, and appetite. And an example of this would be like you wake up feeling flat. Okay, so serotonin has been kicked to the curb because estrogen is not getting the messages. And all of a sudden you're like, why am I waking up feeling so blah? All right. Or, oh my God, there was just a commercial and I'm crying. Why am I crying during this commercial? Or maybe your fuse is way shorter than it used to be and you're awfully snappy with people in your life or even yourself. All right. So this is often a serotonin drop. And just notice, do you feel those things? Okay. So remember, this isn't you. This is strong hormonal messaging going on in the body. So what can you do to help with this dropping serotonin? Well, I'm sure you've heard of this before, but there's certain foods that have tryptophan in them, and tryptophan can help with serotonin. And those are things like turkey, eggs, and oats. So, say for example, you have some eggs in the morning when you get up. Not only is that good protein, but it's going to help keep your blood sugars balanced. Okay, it's going to cut down on cravings later in the day, and you might even feel happy. All right, so get some turkey at lunch or some dinner. Maybe you do some overnight oats. Okay, or you make some oatmeal, or one of the things I love doing is yogurt and oats, or make some granola with some oats and nuts. Lots of different things. So those are three pretty simple foods to get into your diet that can help you. One of the things that we've been talking a lot about in here is sunshine, specifically morning sunlight. My goodness, this was episode 201, I think, and I forgot to celebrate my 200 episodes, which I actually have done more than that because I did ABCs for some of them. But yay me and yay you. Thank you for listening and keep supporting me. And I really hope that I have been a ripple of change in your life and those around you. So one of the things that we were talking about, which is what I talked about in episode 200, was sunlight. It's a fantastic episode. So please, if you haven't listened to it, but sunshine. So 15 to 20 minutes of natural light daily, and more specifically, really getting that morning sunlight. Okay. And if you can get up with the sun, that's awesome. I'm not quite getting up at sunrise, but I'm definitely getting out of bed and heading straight outside just to get that natural sunlight. And you can listen to episode 200. And I've done a couple before that that are so, I'm telling you, we have spent so long talking about food and exercise. And I think such a missing piece is sunlight. And specifically, again, morning and evening sunlight. So really, remember, your cells are seeing the light, which is telling you what time it is. So I'm not going to jump into that here. I'm going to continue to do episodes, and I have done episodes. All right, so getting some sunshine into your day, specifically in the morning. Some gentle exercises like walking or Pilates. There's some nice stretching and oiling out your joints in the morning. Hand exercise, wrists, go to the elbows, the shoulder, the neck, the hips, the ankles, the knees, just, 30 seconds just to warm up all of your joints. And then you could think about supplements. There's a 5-HTP or magnesium. But I think before you go on any supplement, it's worthwhile to figure out, okay, why do I need this? What am I doing currently? Can I fix this with food? And maybe if you're doing all those things, you try it to see if it's helping or not. So, like I have a naturopath person, I have a huge health team because I want longevity with a great health span. Okay, so I'm really focused on my health span, how much health and energy I have in the days that I am, by God's grace, on this earth. All right, so that was serotonin. Now, another neurotransmitter is called dopamine, and it's your motivator. And there's a great book called Dopamine Nation, which I should probably do a podcast on. And I've learned a lot about dopamine over the years, and wow, powerful molecule. All right. It is like the molecule of more. So it can be helpful and not helpful, depending on how you use it. But dopamine, in this case, that we're going to focus on today, is your drive. It's your reward. It's your pleasure chemical, right? So when it starts to go down, you kind of get that blah and unmotivated feeling. All right. So perhaps you used to love organizing or exercising or running or planning for a fun weekend. And now you're just like, why bother? Gosh. Oh, if I can just make it through the next minute, I'll just get through the next minute. All right. And then maybe because dopamine's the molecule of more, you're just like on your phone, scrolling, because it's gotten into your brain. Okay. And you're not satisfied, but that dopamine is just molecule of more, right? So this can be where your dopamine is talking, okay, to you in regards to the scrolling, that dopamine of more, or overeating, or over drinking, or overdoing things, right? Or it's just not firing you up to be motivated anymore. And it can be either or both, or shades of gray in between. Okay, so what really helps with our dopamine is small wins. All right, so just getting out of bed. It could be a small win. Just getting into your clothes could be a small win for the day, right? And so if that has to go on your to-do list just to cross it off and make you feel good, go for it. All right. So I always say take something that you have in mind and just break it down to the simplest thing that you can do and give yourself a high five for that. Okay, something else that helps with dopamine is novelty. So this could be like trying a new recipe or trying a new hobby or walking a different path or putting some lemon in your water. I don't know, just try something different that you didn't do yesterday. Okay, and that can help bring up dopamine. Protein-rich meals, especially in the morning, can help with dopamine. And ooh, this is one I'm not fond of, but cold showers can give you a quick dopamine boost. So we can get dopamine boost through non-harmful things, right? Like a cold shower, right? Or harmful things, another glass of wine, or more like more sugar, right? So it's really interesting. So just a side note, one of the things that I've really noticed is when I am reaching for something else, and this takes a high level of awareness and also understanding dopamine, but you say, am I doing this because of dopamine? Or do I really like what's the drive behind this? I'm not going to go into that in this episode, but just something for you to think about. Okay, I'm gonna have a sip of water. Mm. Okay, so another neurotransmitter is called norepinephrine. And this is your focus finder. Okay. And this one helps with attention, alertness, and stress response. Okay. So some real life examples of this would be that you're sitting at your desk. Oh my goodness. You open up your laptop and 45 minutes later, nothing's done. Okay. You've read the same sentence 25 times. You've distracted yourself. You're just not focused. And somebody with ADHD here, yeah, I get this one. Okay. Oh, rabbit, right? So very distracted, very attention not good. Okay. The other side of this, which I definitely feel too, is overwhelm. Like just, oh my gosh, like overwhelm. I just don't even know where to start. I don't know what to do. Completely overwhelmed. Or I can even feel jumpy, like very anxious or jumpy, easy to scare. All right. So again, this is really about attention, alertness, and stress response. So what can help with this? So structured routine. Start the day the same way. So how much structure? Structure is very grounding, especially I find I have structure in my mornings because that's when I typically do all of my personal training, teaching my classes, my coaching calls, everything's done between like 7:30 and noon. And then after that, I have a lot of, leeway, but I have a structured dog walk. All right. So I have something ground me back down again. Or, like your day can just go by and you're like, what did I do? So notice if you need to get some structured routines into your day. All right. And that also helps with habit stacking. So if you need to exercise, you can habit stack onto something that's already grounded there. If you're not grounded in structure somewhere, you can just lose track of time during your day. You can do short, focused workouts, okay, which I am the queen of, like Mondays. I'm taping this on a Monday in June. Every Monday we have a quickie, a morning quickie around 10:35. We all hop on Zoom and we do 10 to 15 minutes of exercise. I love it. Sometimes it's high intensity, sometimes it's stretching, sometimes it's rolling, but we show up and it's so great to have people show up because you can talk yourself out of these things. So if you need some support, that's what I'm here for. All right, you might find that you want some deep breathing or short meditations added to your day. You could habit stack those in if you're not doing them. And then you might find that adaptogens like rhodiola, ashwagandha could be helpful. Again, just check with your health team just so that you got to understand what you're taking, why you're taking it, and how does it work with the other things that you're taking. All right. Okay. So norepinephrine loves rhythm and rest. You don't have to hustle harder. Okay. You just need to recharge smarter. So I'm totally out of hustle culture. I was in there in my 20s, 30s, and 40s. I'm done. I've I have revamped my life over the last 5 years, and I'm really enjoying it. And I even am working at slowing down even more. Okay, so another one here is acetylcholine, which is the memory maker. Okay, so acetylcholine is necessary for learning and memory. And how it shows up is that you forget names. Sorry, what was your name again? That's one of mine. That's been my whole life, but or you walk into a store and completely forget why you're there, okay, or what you went in for, or you forget an item or two, okay, and it's like your brain is closing down. It's shutting tabs, right? And so again, you walk into your pantry or open your fridge and you're like, what did I want in here again? So that's your acetylcholine. And so that estrogen is dropping and acetylcholine is disappearing. So what helps you can be choline rich foods. So that now again, we have those eggs. Listen, I'm telling you, go get the best eggs you can from your farmer. I love Eggman down the road. I get farm fresh eggs. Okay. Seriously, go and get good eggs. They are so good for you. You can have some salmon, some leafy greens. So those are some foods high in choline. So are they a part of your diet? You can do some brain games or puzzles. That's also very good for your brain. Getting your omega-3s. If you need some good ones, just let me know. I do a plant-based one. You can check out, I think it's in my show notes. You can check that out. If it isn't, I got to put it in there. And then prioritize sleep, okay? And sleep is not optional. A lot of you are using Aura rings and you have really found it helpful, or some other sleep device to track your sleep, see how much REM sleep you're getting, how much deep sleep you're getting. And I know from listening to my friends, I don't have an Aura ring. I had one for 3 months just to try it out. But they say like they have really changed their habits, like their drinking habits, how late they stay up, the intensity of their exercise. So really learning how to listen to your body so that you can get the best sleep possible and to know what helps your sleep and what doesn't help your sleep. And again, I've done lots of episodes, like just quickly, right? Like looking at blue light before bed, not great. Watching television before bed, not great. Working before bed, not great. Alcohol, not great. Maybe doing a workout before too close to bedtime, not great. Okay. Some great things that can help you: having a bath, having some magnesium, having some herbal tea, doing a meditation, uh, changing your light bulbs. Okay. So those are some things that can start to help you. So give yourself some grace. Okay. Your brain is rewiring during this perimenopause, menopausal journey. It's not malfunctioning, it's rewiring, right? And so we aren't who we were when we were 20 or 30. We're going through a change. So let's just give ourselves grace and compassion. All right. And then the last one here is GABA. Okay. And GABA is your calming hormone, your calm down chemical, and it helps you to sleep, relax, and feel at peace. So how it could be showing up in your day is you could feel edgy. Okay, so GABA is not, being like it was with estrogen. Estrogen is decreasing. GABA is not hearing the message, right? So you feel edgier than you used to feel. You cannot fall asleep. You wake up at 3 a.m. You're wired but tired. Okay, maybe everything feels louder or more intense. I'm definitely going through some of that right now because I say to my husband, like, noise is really loud and light at night is blinding. So, again, just be aware of these things that are happening to you. All right. And so what are some things that can help you? So magnesium glycinate before bed, that could be very helpful. Herbal teas like chamomile, valerian. Yeah, I'm saying that right. Lemon balm. Okay. Maybe doing some very gentle yoga, stretching. I love laying on my PEMF mat. You could use your PEMF device. Remember, this is my personalized electronic magnetic frequency, really helping to calm me down. You could also do some weighted blankets, which can help boost GABA naturally through deep pressure. So some different things to try. So you basically have to go, okay, what am I feeling? Which of these neurotransmitters am I noticing that is malfunctioning? Actually, not malfunctioning, but not functioning the way it used to. And I would like to get it a little back in, a little back on plan, right? And so which of these am I really noticing, and what are some steps I can do to help with getting it back on board? All right, so how do we put this all together? All right, so I'm going to tell you about Lisa, who is a 55-year-old client of mine, and she came in saying to me, I don't feel like me. I'm snappy, forgetful, and my get up and go has got up and left. Okay, so very unmotivated. So when you're looking at yourself, it's really important to get a good look at your lifestyle, right? So what is going on in your whole day? And then where are some simple shifts that we can start to do? So Lisa started to add a morning walk. Okay, so she has a little dog. She got up and she just started to get outside and walk her dog. And then she added some protein to her breakfast. And we swapped out some wine for herbal tea a few nights of the week. Okay, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. And then she bought in some magnesium and some omega 3s. Okay, and within 3 weeks, 3 weeks is not a long time of doing these habits, right? And then consistently keeping them going. So you have to make the changes that are sustainable. She was sleeping much better. And remember, when you're sleeping better, you're much more able to make better decisions the next day. All right. And then within 3 months, her brain fog was lifting, her workouts felt fun again. And she said, I feel hopeful for the first time in a year. So she's feeling more like herself. So this stuff works. This is not big things. It's little tweaks. As you always hear me say, simple shifts done consistently over time. Small hinges swing big doors. Okay, you got to find the simple things and keep them as consistent as possible. And if you're not being consistent, then you have to break it down to something even smaller that you can be consistent with. So this stuff works. It's not like an overnight hit, but with overtime, like with Lisa, within 6 weeks, or sorry, 3 weeks, she was sleeping better. Within 6 weeks, I forgot to mention this, that she felt more motivated, right? She felt herself getting more motivated. So not overnight, but definitely over time with consistency, compassion, and support. So this was a really great episode because, again, it makes you realize how powerful estrogen is and how it can be affecting you in different ways with these neurotransmitters. And then you can do some of the steps that we talked about in here today. And you can also look at whether you would like to add estrogen into your life. All right. So if you're feeling off, it's not just you. It's not aging, it's chemistry. Okay. Our body is going through a change. And the great news is that there are so many simple, doable ways to support your brain. And if you found today's episode helpful, please share with a friend, a family member who is going through the same thing, somebody who is in their, mid to late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s and beyond. Okay? Can be very helpful for them to understand that it's not their fault, because when you have wisdom, when you are educated, you become empowered. All right. So please don't forget to subscribe. And if you could leave a 5-star rating review, that would be helpful. It helps other people find this podcast. And I want to continue to share practical, empowering episodes with you. So remember, you are not alone. You are not broken. You are in transition. And that means growth is possible. Okay? You are in transition. And that means growth is possible if you want to make some changes. So thank you for joining me on this week's edition of Menopause Made Easy with Tanya, and I'll see you next time. Have a